Hey everyone. So today we're going to take a look at a completely ordinary object, something you might even have on right now, and use it to unlock a really deep secret about the world we live in. We're going to investigate the secret life of a commodity.
So let's just start at the beginning, right? What even is a commodity? I mean, the source material we're looking at points out that in our society, wealth just seems to be this immense accumulation of commodities. Everything from your t shirt to your phone to a cup of coffee. But what are these things really? Because as soon as you start to actually analyze one, it reveals itself to be, and this is a direct quote, a very queer thing. And back then, queer just meant strange or peculiar. It's a thing abounding in metaphysical subtleties and theological niceties. Now, that does not sound like a simple t shirt, does it? So that's our mystery. There's way more going on with everyday stuff than we think. To solve this mystery, we've got to look closer. And the very first step is to understand that every single commodity has a kind of dual nature. It's like it's two completely different things at the exact same time. So every commodity is split in two. On one side, you've got its use value. This part's pretty straightforward. It's just how useful it is. A coat keeps you warm, a chair's for sitting. It's all about its physical qualities that help us out. But then there's this other side, its value or exchange value. And this has absolutely nothing to do with how useful it is. This is purely about what you can trade it for. It's not about the quality of the thing itself, but the quantity of other things you can get for it. And that leads us to the million-dollar question. If this value isn't about usefulness or what it's made of, where does it come from? What's the common thing that lets us say, for example, that 20 yards of linen is somehow equal to one coat? I mean, they're totally different things, used for different purposes. So what makes them equivalent? Well, the answer, according to our source, is a hidden ingredient. If you strip away all the different uses and the physical materials of all the different commodities, you find the one single thing they all have in common. They are all products of human labor. Now, this is a really critical idea. We're not talking about the specific, concrete work of a tailor making a coat or a weaver making linen. When we compare them in an exchange, we mentally just strip all that away. We forget about their usefulness. And what's left? What they both share is just human labor in the abstract. The general, raw expenditure of human brains, nerves, and muscles. Okay, but here's a super important point. The value isn't measured by how long it takes one specific person. So if I'm a really slow weaver, my linen isn't more valuable. No way. Value is determined by socially necessary labor time. Think of it as the average time it takes to make something using the average technology and skill level of the day. For example, if someone invents a power loom that cuts weaving time in half, guess what? The value of all linen, even the stuff still made by hand, also drops by half. It's all about that social average. So think of it like this. A commodity is basically like a crystal. And what's been crystallized or congealed inside of it is just a certain amount of that socially necessary labor time. That's its value. It's frozen human effort. But okay, how does this abstract idea of congealed labor time actually turn into a price tag that you see in a store? Well, the source traces this fascinating evolution from simple trading all the way to modern money. It starts out super simple, with a simple form, direct barter. My 20 yards of linen for your one coat. Done. Then things expand a bit into the expanded form, where your linen's value can be measured against a whole list of other things. But the really crucial moment is the general form, where everything flips. Now all other commodities express their value in just one single thing, let's say in linen. So the coat is worth 20 yards of linen. The tea is worth 20 yards of linen. Linen becomes the universal mirror reflecting everyone else's value. And the final step is the money form. That's when society just agrees to stick that universal mirror roll onto one special commodity for good, like gold. And suddenly, 20 yards of linen is expressed as 2 ounces of gold. And that is what we call its price. All right, now we're at the climax of our whole investigation. This entire system of making things just to exchange them, of value and money, it has a very strange and very powerful social consequence. The source calls this fetishism, and it basically gives commodities a kind of phantom life.
Here's how it works. You see, in a society full of commodity producers, people tend to work in isolation. A tailor and a weaver don't have a direct social link as producers. They aren't coordinating their work. The only way their private work becomes part of the bigger social picture is when they exchange their products in the market.
And because our real social relationships are hidden behind this act of exchange, something really weird happens. That human connection, the relationship between the tailor's labor and the weaver's labor, it gets transferred onto the things they made. It starts to look like a natural, objective quality of the coat and the linen themselves. And this is the secret. A definite social relation between men assumes in their eyes the fantastic form of a relation between things. We stop seeing the human connection, the labor that went into the products, and instead we see a world where objects, commodities, seem to relate to each other. A shirt isn't worth $20 because of a human relationship. It just is worth $20, as if that value magically grew out of the cotton itself.
So, the big secret we've uncovered is this. In a society built on commodities, the real social relationships between the people who make everything are hidden. Instead, these human connections take on the appearance of relationships between objects, and those objects seem to have a social power all their own. This whole illusion is what the source material calls the fetishism of commodities. Which leaves us with a final question to really think about. The next time you pick something up in a store and you look at its price tag, just ask yourself, what secrets, what human relationships, what congealed labor time is hidden inside the things we buy every single day?